Now how to get detailed information about pod. So but before that, let us run this command kubectl get rs mean replica set, no resources found in default namespace. Same way kubectl get deployments, no resources found. That means when we were creating the pod using CLI, by default pods were getting created, no rs object replica set and deploy were created. These we are going to discuss in very great detail. What is replica set, what are deployment objects. Now whenever we have to get detailed information about pod, the command to use is kubectl describe pod and name of the pod. In our case, we want to have a detailed information about the web server. Now it is going to show you lot of information. So here we are showing few of the lines. That means name is web server, default namespace is your default, and node, on which node it is being launched. So it is showing 172.24.201, that means worker 1 on it is. And labels, by default we have not given any labels, so by default one label is always there, run equal to web server. That means run equal to the name of the, that is by default label is attached. Status running, IP address is this. And if we are going to get more information, then container, which container is there, on which image, the image ID, and when it was created, it is ready, yes. And conditions, type status, initialized, ready, container ready, port schedule, everything is there. And whether there are any toleration, that type of things are there. That we are going to discuss later on, what are these toleration type of things. Now if you want to have great detail, then you can always use the switch override. Now it is showing that in our case two pods are running, simple pod which is having it as 2.8 and web server pod 1.4. Now we want to delete this pod. So what is the command? kubectl delete pod /simple, then kubectl delete pod web server. Both pod will get deleted. And if we are going to check kubectl get pods override, and nothing is there. That means we were able to successfully create a pod by using command line, and then we were able to delete also and view detailed information about the pod, node to pod communication, port to port communication, all concepts we were able to verify. Now let us see what type of error can occur when we are creating the pod. So in our case, again we are using one file called pod without pod, and here we are making certain changes. That means API version is v1, kind of object is pod, and name of the pod is going to be. Now we are introducing labels. Like when we implement physical servers, what we do generally, on physical server we put some sticker that this is web server, this is FTP server, this is mail server, and this is this type of server. Same way, when we are creating pods, we need to specify how we are going to recognize. So in our case, we are attaching the label apps equal to nginx web. The labels are very important when we have to send the traffic to pods, and for many other purposes, labels are very important. So here we are introducing the label. That means we have just attached the label app is equal to nginx, that is the label. Then container is web, image is nginx 1.6, and look at this, we have not specified the name of the image correctly. So we will see what will happen. Now when we are going to say kubectl create, again the name of the file, now it is saying the pod web server created. Now when we are going to run this command kubectl get pods override, now what it is saying? Not ready, status image pull error is there, restart 0, IP address is this worker. That means IP address has been allocated and scheduling has been done, but it is not in ready state because the container required that image, that name of the image was wrong. So that is, it is giving the status error. error image pull. Now if you are going to how to troubleshoot, so we can always say that this command kubectl describe pod web server. That means we want to have the detail of this pod web server, and because it is going to show a lot of output, so you can use more or less command for displaying the output page by page. And we want to go into the event. So what are the event? So when we are going to look at default scheduler successfully assigned default web server to, that means the scheduler scheduled that pod on worker2.example.com. Then what was the next step? It start pulling that image, but this image name is wrong, so fail to pull the image, it is giving the error. And fail error back off, that means after some tries what it will do, it will not again try to pull the image. So what will happen? It will show that error, that this is the error. Now how to rectify the error? Just change the name, proper name. That means whenever you are creating the pods, be careful about specifying the name of the image should be correct, otherwise the error will be there. So now we have modified the image of the name is nginx :1. Earlier what we have specified, hyphen was there. With that name no image exists, with this name the name exists. Now what we are going to do, since pod is already running, so we cannot use the command create. So if you have made certain changes, you have to use this apply. So we are saying kubectl apply, again the name of the file. Now what it is saying, kubectl get pod void. Now it will start pulling the image. Still it is that means that it is the earlier error message it is showing, and now when we are going to run, it is going to pull the image. Then after some times we will see that web server 1 out of 1 container is running, status it is running. That means if you are not going to specify proper name of the image, you will get this type of error. So you can always look the output of these commands to see what was happening. And please, always the best command for troubleshooting is describe command. And if we are going to run this curl command from our host, curl r display the 214 to 240 bytes, it is showing the web page. Now regarding the pod labels, now we are going to discuss about the pod label, because in our case when we were creating this, what we did, labels, apps, nginx web. So now our this web container image container is running, which is based on this image nginx. And what label we have given? We have given this app nginx web. Although sometimes on physical server, on one server mail server might be there, web server might be there, FTP server might be there, so we are going to put 3 labels. Same we are here, we have just put that this pod it contains the app nginx. We could have specified which version of that app, whether it is production or development environment. So lot of label can be then can be given, but here we have just specified app is nginx. This is labeling, this is the IP address, this is web port, and it is running on web. So if you are going to look at the detail by using that describe command, you will find this detail. That means name of the pod web server, names web default, this is the node worker2.example, this is the address, static address, this is the dynamic address, label apps nginx, and status is running, this it is showing. And further details, again we have discussed this. These are the details of your pod when you are going to run the describe command. And how we can view the labels, for that the command is kubectl get pods -- show labels. So it is saying that web server is ready, 1 of out of 1 container is running, status is running, and it is saying label is equal to app. And if we are going to specify kubectl get pods -o wide -o level, it is going to give even more detail, IP address also, on which node it is scheduled, which labels are there. And we can specify also please show us the pods which contains the label. That means kubectl get pods label appsengine equal to nginx web. That means with L command we can specify the labels. That means if there are hundred of pods are running, we just want to search the pods where the label is apps equal to nginx web, then we can run this command. So if we are going to run this command kubectl get pods label is environment equal to production. Now in our case we did not created any pod with this label, so it is showing that no resource is available. Now we will see how to manage the labels, how to add new labels, how to remove the labels, that we are going to see. Labels are very important because certain objects functioning depends upon the labels.